Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the third and final part of this week's Copenhagen Dreaming, which won't be a whole hour, but you know you will you will get what you get and be happy with it. Yeah. No, we've gone a little bit over time on the previous two recordings, so the final one won't be a full hour.
Oh!
Yes, so I'm just taunting. I'm just taunting the listeners because I'm evil.
We want a full hour. Boo!
Boo his boo. But in any case, we are back at the cisterns where you have been asking questions and making some preliminary plans, and you've now looked at a telephone where you can, so far at least, tell that there's something wacky going on with time.
Yes.
At any rate, we're gonna keep this for evidence.
Yes.
And now we go collecting phones.
Yeah, Charlie stuffs the phone in his bag.
Was that Sizzle's phone?
Yeah, Sizzle's phone. She was okay with handing it over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I've got to remember that's a silent D. You Danish people and your silent or soft Ds, I don't understand it. And that's not a sexual pun, ladies and gentlemen of the video audience. I just want to make that absolutely clear right now.
All of them silent Ds. You can't outrun them.
Well, not silent, but the point is that you make a sound with them that I, being British, have never made in my life and struggle to make now in my mid-20s.
Are you trying to make a new sound with your D?
I am not going to dignify that with a proper response.
So next course of action being maybe seeing if we can find Ratigan.
That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Who was it Reinhardt said had already gone home?
He expected that Ratigan and or Sissel had gone home already.
Oh.
He didn't mention Sarah.
That's a good point, because Sarah stayed outside during all of this, so she
might have seen something weird. Let's go ask her.
And of course, she might give us even more examples of time being screwed around with, so...
Or perception.
That as well.
But yeah, we'll try to find her.
Sure, that's actually... She has left at this point, so... You know, the place is emptying pretty quickly at this point, so neither her nor Ratigan are still there.
I'll try call Sarah.
Right, you know her
I still
after
have
all.
a phone
Yeah. Exactly.
from the incident.
From the incident. Yes.
Sunny knows her too. They've been talking a little.
Yeah. So, you call her and she picks up the phone. Oh, hi, Charlie.
Hi. We can see that you left already, and we have some questions for you.
Oh, right.
Might be a bit odd, but can you come back in?
Actually, you know, would it be possible for us to meet somewhere else? Quite frankly, I'd rather not go back to that place right now.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
The Dream Factory?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll go right there. I'll make sure that there's something to drink for all of us.
Thanks. We'll be right down.
Okay, sure. She hangs up.
Yeah, she's gonna meet us at Dream Factory.
I think Sunny reacts the same way I just did. Woohoo!
How far is the Dream Factory from the Winter Court?
Not far.
Not that far. It's about 20 minutes.
5 if you're satyr.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're a satyr that gets forced to run around in circles for an hour.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen to me. That was so...
And we can find can't find Winter Court either.
What?
Just before we leave, we may see if Ratigan still here, if he has left.
No, he's left. He's left.
Yeah.
He's left. Okay.
We should have asked Reinhardt for his phone.
We should have, yeah.
No, we can...
We can always call him from Sissel's phone.
Yeah, or we may ruin his day another day.
Before we leave, we could ask one of the guards up there to get Thomas's phone.
Oh yeah, good idea.
And maybe if they also have Julian's phone here as evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Just before we leave.
Jonas goes to do so.
Yeah, you can certainly get Julian's phone. That's not a problem.
What about
Thomas's?
Thomas's phone?
Thomas is perfectly fine handing over his phone to you guys.
Do the call times add up?
No.
Interesting.
Ooh, do tell.
He said that he called for pizza at 4:45, correct?
Yes.
According to his phone log, he did make a phone call for to a pizzeria, but it was at 5:30.
5:30?
No, 4:30.
Okay.
Okay.
And when did Julian call him? No, he called the door. Yes. He
just
rang on
turned
the
up
door.
Yeah, Julian just turned up at the door.
But what does Julian's phone say?
Julian's phone says that he called Reinhard at 3:50.
Yeah.
And that he was on the phone with him for almost 30 minutes.
Whoa.
That's a long time to say help.
Especially
Julian seems sporty as well. Does he have the same helpful app?
No, he doesn't.
When was it he called Reinhard? 3:50, right?
3:50.
3:50, and it was on the phone for 30 minutes, which goes against what Reinhard said, that he hung up abruptly.
Yeah, that he called him 5 minutes past 4 and then dropped everything in his hands.
Yeah.
This is so strange.
Playing a very interesting game.
This doesn't add up.
No.
No?
When did Cecil get the call?
Sorry, what? One more time?
When did Cecil get the call?
15:48.
How's that possible if Reinhard gets the call later?
I know, right?
That means Reinhard called her to tell her that there was trouble before he knew it.
Yeah, he called her 2 minutes before, asked her to come. Then Julian calls him 2 minutes after he hung up. Math.
Sonny, can you draw out a timeline while we get over to the Dream Factory?
Yeah, but none of you will be able to get it. Okay.
Thanks.
So
I don't think I'll be able to get it. This'll be the first piece of art I won't get. I don't get this. I don't like this. It feels wrong. I feel dirty doing this.
Right.
Phones goes in the bag.
Yes.
I hate you right now, Charlie. How the hell?
I do my very best.
You guys go to the Dream Factory and you end up there after about 20 minutes or so. And Sarah is already there, and she's already ordered a round of that hot chocolate that the place is famous for.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny looks despairing as he's trying to draw up this thing. Already when he walks in, he's just like, no comprehension in his face.
Yep.
Hey there.
Hi.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Good to see you. So, what's all this about?
We have a few questions, or rather, we'd like to hear your side of what happened.
Oh, right, of course.
And someone else has to take notes because I'm currently trying to make a timeline.
Jasmine, you take notes, that is.
Yes, I'm taking notes as well.
She's like, for the record, I understand why Felicia decided that she needed to do something. I like Thomas as much as any other troll in Copenhagen, but it was a bit of a she really volunteered you right on the spot, didn't she?
I look at it as her having faith in me.
Oh, right, that's right. You're her, yeah, with the Squire thing and everything. That's gonna take a little while getting used to. But no, I'm super happy that this is. I'm really happy that this has happened for you. That she's a good person to learn from. But it's a hell of a first assignment. Anyway, you wanted to know my side of the story.
Yes, and if you could, please be precise about time as much as you can, of course.
Of course. Well, I got a call at 4:05 from Reinhard saying, I need a lift into Copenhagen right now. And that wasn't a problem because he knew I was in town. We'd gone to Roskilde together on an unrelated issue. And then he'd gone his way and I'd gone mine, and we were planning on going back sometime later in the evening. But then suddenly he calls me at 4:05 and says, we need to go right now. And he said that Julian was in trouble. And then we got into the car, and I went directly there. It was only about 5 minutes. And
from Roskilde?
No, from where I was in Roskilde to where he was, and then I picked him up, and then we went directly from there to Copenhagen.
Okay.
Which doesn't add up, she says.
You won't happen to use your phone GPS or something, do you?
No, I have a GPS in the car.
Is it parked outside?
Yeah, it is. I can go
Can
and get it.
I borrow the keys just to check?
No, I'll go and get it.
No, okay.
She hops off and gets the she comes back in with the GPS and puts it on the table.
Yeah, I go knock her on it.
Yeah, the thing is, according to this, they left Roskilde almost 20 minutes before she says they left, which really does add up more with having to get. Yeah, you can get from Roskilde to Copenhagen in about 30 or 40 minutes easily, but in this case, it wasn't a matter of getting to the suburbs of Copenhagen or anything of the sort. This was a matter of getting to, dead center of downtown Copenhagen in that time. During rush hour.
Yeah.
Right there, you're looking at an hour to a half.
Yeah.
Do they have any weird stops on the way?
No, they don't. That's the thing. They don't have any weird stops, but according to the GPS, they left Roskilde 20 minutes before she believes that they left.
And she believes they left at about
4:10.
At 10 past.
Do we have Julian's phone?
Yeah.
Can I borrow it?
Yeah.
I want to check the call lists and see if he made another call for Reinhardt approximately 20 minutes earlier.
No, he didn't. He only made the one call.
That means timeline-wise, actually, Reinhardt had to call and get picked up before he calls Sissel.
Yeah.
Which is before he gets the call from Julian.
Yeah. It's 5 minutes before he calls Julian.
Claims he got the call at 4:05. He called Cecil at 3:48. Called Sarah at. Well, they left at 3:50, which is the same as when.
Oh, if only you had Julian's phone, eh?
We do have Julian's phone.
Not Julian, sorry, Reinhard's phone.
Well, we can speak to the angsty teen tomorrow. I mean, I'm not saying that entirely insultingly. He does have a reason to be angsty this time around. But yes, we shall. Unless he's conveniently lost it or deleted things on it, because that wouldn't be suspicious.
Right. Jonas looks at this and then looks at her and says, "So what else do you remember?"
Well, I remember that he was scared when we got into the car. He said that Julian had sounded really strange, like he was out of breath, and that he was scared.
Did you see anyone else up until you picked Reinhardt up? Anyone?
No. Should I have?
Just a thought. Cecil saw that she can't place now.
Oh. Right. No, I didn't.
And she ran halfway. She ran all the ways through Copenhagen before reaching Thomas's place.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, there was one thing.
Yes.
But that didn't happen until I was in the car waiting for the others.
Yeah?
I mean, I was parked right down by the entrance, right? Literally right outside. And I was just sitting there in the car, and suddenly it felt like somebody was walking over my grave. I mean, really, chills down my spine. Like, it felt cold, really uncomfortable. It was just there for, a split moment, and then it was gone. And I was like, I just figured, hey, it's like having deja vu. And then somebody came, then they came down from the flat, and the shit hit the fan. You know what?
Right.
What makes me confused about all this?
What?
If Thomas had done this, why the hell didn't he just beat all of us up and run away? I'm the only one in that group who could have stopped him, and I was outside.
Well, maybe because he didn't do it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? That everything says he did except his own word, and I've never known Thomas to lie. So all the evidence is there saying he did it, and I don't believe he did.
Actually, when you look at the timeline, he says and turns it around, none of this makes sense.
What the...
This is when Reinhardt actually calls Red, but he doesn't get a call from Julian before 2 minutes after. They had a 30-minute conversation. Red then takes almost an hour to get in.
How the heck?
And she went around the entire place.
This is so weird.
Thomas believes it only took him 2 minutes in that kitchen, but what if the same thing happened to him?
Yeah.
None of these times adds up. People calls before they know what's going on. Julian stays on the phone for way too long, even though everyone says that he hung up way too early.
I'm really confused, she says and looks at that.
But we have all the phone things.
Right?
What you say and what the phones say are not the same thing.
Do you have... Have you got a hold of Julian about this? Oh, sorry, not Julian. Reinhard about this yet?
No, he was the first one we were talking to.
Right. And how about... I can't see Ratigan anywhere on this.
Not yet.
We haven't seen him yet.
Right.
Because maybe someone... If someone has been messing up time, then what's to say it hasn't been messing up time when he checked it?
That's a good point. But that would make that... Who's strong enough to do that?
Someone who's strong enough to make you feel like someone is walking on your grave without you being able to see anyone?
I mean, to be able to manipulate time and even sort of space a bit, considering what happened to Cecil, almost within the same sort of 2 hours, and then potentially to be able to fool Ratigan's investigation.
This is...
I don't know.
This is so weird. And who would want to frame Thomas for something this terrible?
Someone who really benefits for him being framed and killed by his own.
Let's face it, Thomas is a big deterrent for a lot of nasty stuff.
He really is. I mean, he's the best protector the commoners in Copenhagen has. He's really there for, you know, not to put too fine a point on it, but the non-she.
Yeah.
Is somebody trying to put a wedge in here?
Possibly.
Obviously. Something is going on, and we can't really tell who it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of enemies that would benefit from Thomas not longer being a thing.
Definitely.
Werewolves would be one, Shadow Corp would be one, Walking Corpses would be one.
Whoa, the werewolves?
Thank you. Yes.
Not sure
The ones that doesn't really like us.
Oh, right.
I mean,
Yeah, sorry.
Who among you was it that used the chronos to watch what had happened?
Well, that was Ratigan.
was it though?
Yeah, that was Ratigan, she says.
Okay.
Ratigan checked the entire place after.
He's really good with that.
Hmm. Alright.
But everyone is agreeing on that it was 1655 that Reinhard was dead. Even Thomas say this. And then you came in the door, just as he realizes that he's dead.
So that's the only fixed time we have that everything seems to coalesce into is 16.
Yes.
Actually, that's not entirely true.
Really?
If I remember correctly, everyone else outside a group, Jasmine indicates to Sarah, you, Cecil, and Reinhardt all entered and found the situation at 5 to 5.
Yes.
But Thomas said that he went into his living room and found Julian dead there with the knife through him at 4 to 5. So I'm not sure if he just stood there for 10 minutes in a state of catatonia, but...
I mean, I wasn't up there, so I don't know that either, but I know that if I just came into a room and saw someone with a cold iron knife in them, I wouldn't be standing around for 10 minutes waiting to wither away. I would get out of the room as quickly as I possibly could.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He claims you came in at the door at the moment he actually finds him.
Well, the others...
He gets to realize he's dead.
Again, I was downstairs.
I know,
but I know what you
the
mean.
group you were with
Yeah.
So...
came in the door just as,
Yeah.
he found him dead and checked that he was dead, trying to figure out if there was anything he could do, even though it was pretty obvious,
This is very confusing.
It's very confusing, and it's frightening. I'm sorry, but, for someone to mess with time?
I mean, That's one explanation.
I'm trying to think of anyone in Copenhagen that's powerful enough to do something like that.
Well, actually,
Yeah?
it fits with the Kronos thing. If you're strong enough, push yourself out of time.
So, if we are dealing with someone who can manipulate time, it would have to, again, it would have to be someone who is incredibly powerful, but it would be...
It would be possible.
It would be possible.
Very strong Fae, or maybe the spell flingers, they're powerful with magic. Maybe one of them has some ability to control time.
I don't know how it works exactly, but since she said she felt some kind of presence, that might be what happens when somebody is around who's pushed out of time.
That's possible.
I don't know.
But that doesn't explain how Red ended up running around in circles before she came here.
If someone muddled her mind or her senses.
That must have been very, 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 very strong then.
But
well,
yeah.
If you're strong enough in time, actually what you need to do is just move people around.
I mean, it might not necessarily be just time that was changed, because I imagine changing time is quite difficult. It might just be changing how people perceive time.
That's exactly what I've been thinking, Jasmine.
Could be that just rather than messing with time, people are just someone's messing with everyone's heads.
That would make sense.
I can use a cantrip right now if you looked at your phone to make the numbers look different. And that's what I can do. I mean, changing perception, if you're powerful, is not difficult. I assume at least not as difficult as messing with time. We shouldn't jump to conclusions yet.
No, again, we're starting to attach theories to facts, and we haven't gotten all the facts yet, so...
But actually, I think it would be a good idea to go back to Thomas's apartment. Not to look at the apartment in Kronos, but actually look outside to see what happens when people actually are showing up. It might
we should also...
a more precise timeline.
Push it.
Gesundheit.
We should also get Reinhardt's phone and get talking with Ratigan. Maybe they felt something.
So we go all together and everything, or shall we split up to cover more ground?
If we split up, and I'm not saying we should, but if we do, we should have someone taking notes on all teams.
Well,
maybe taking
40, and then maybe we can transcribe it or something. There.
If whoever goes, just make sure to record it, maybe even video.
Yeah.
To see what you see with sound and everything. Because I'm in. I mean, going there and checking before the thing is too cold is the best thing we can do. Doesn't need to make it harder on ourselves.
Yeah, we can always find and Reinhardt afterwards.
Yes.
So we go to Tom's place.
That's a start.
Yay? Nay?
Yay.
Right.
Cool.
Thanks for your help, Sarah, anyway.
Oh, no problem. No problem. I want to see this get resolved as much as anyone else. I'm really, really worried by this.
That could also explain why his wife was late home.
It could.
Yeah.
If someone can make Red run in circles like that, while she thinks she took the most direct route home, or most direct route to Thomas's place, then that would be just as easy on Thomas's wife, wouldn't it?
That's true.
Probably easier.
Yeah, since she's not Kazane.
This is definitely something to consider, but one thing that I really want to stress here is a less fair-minded noble than the Duchess would have just killed him already.
Killed who?
Thomas.
So
She
the
would have
Duchess.
just had him. She would have had him. If she hadn't been as fair-minded as she is, she would have just had him cut down on the evidence as it looks. And that is a scary thought.
Especially when you think about what it actually looks like.
Exactly.
Sonny says, tapping at the...
Imagine what would happen if 2 days after that execution, somebody suddenly happens to find evidence that it was wrong.
So someone was counting on the Duchess to respond less fair-mindedly.
We can't know that, but it's just a thought.
Well, we better make the most of...
She does have a reputation as being cold.
Doesn't she also have a reputation for being... I don't know if that's the right word, but...
She's just.
Yeah,
that's her reputation.
She's definitely got a reputation as being just, but she does have a reputation as being cold, and that could easily add up to, okay, I have seen the evidence, and the evidence says you're guilty, now you have to die.
We're lucky she's too smart for that.
I really feel ill at ease at all about this, but...
Maybe someone did hope that her cold mercilessness would have done it.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm glad that you guys are on this, and it looks like you're asking some pretty good questions, she says, and looks really, serious. So,
if this is how it looks to us, and how long did Thomas actually miss?
And you know what? I think on that question, we're going to end for this week, because that's a bloody good cliffhanger. So I'm going to give you some XP, because the question of how long did Thomas miss?
Yeah, because he said he called the pizzeria at 45, and then Julian shows up right before he gets to call them.
Yeah. So, Anyway, guys, this has been great fun, and it was the first time that we get to play with these characters where you get some experience. So I am going to give you 4 for tonight. 4 XP.
Nice.
Nice.
God, I'm confused.
That's okay. That's kind of the point after this.
I don't like it.
Mysteries are supposed to make you confused until you solve them.
Exactly. It's like I posted in the thing earlier, that Doctor Who quote about
timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a not necessarily a natural progression of course to effect in this. Certainly someone wants us to think that. I mean, yeah, my brain is actually starting to overheat thinking about all of this, but good.
All the more reason that it's a good thing we end now for tonight.
Yes.
Meltdown.
Definitely.
SOS.
I'm going to buy...
Shut all windows and reboot.
Oh, you've given me the impetus I need to buy another point in investigation.
Hey!
I'm actually happy I gave the dog investigation.
Yes. Okay, so basically we don't need Sunny, we just need Sir.
Aww.
So we want Sunny around, of course we do. Being mean. In a sort of friendly
Sunny's
way.
not mean!
No, I'm being mean.
Oh.
In that way, apparently Danish people are to their friends.
Yeah, Sir actually has 2 dots in investigation. He's a good little doggo.
Yes, he's a good doggo.
And his floof is mighty.
Yes. He's also he's also a well-fed doggo who got Cookie, and Lille Ganesha is a very happy bronze statue in the bag because it also got Cookie.
Yes.
I mean, the reason his quote is "my floof is mighty" is because his floof is his armor.
Yes.
Yes.
It's mighty floof.
Yes. In any case, ladies and gentlemen of the viewing audience, this was the beginning of the main storyline in this campaign. And I hope you have enjoyed it, and that you will be back next week for more wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff. And until then, from us here at CharismaToAC, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.